Tonight, as the world grows quiet and the clock drifts past midnight, your mind prepares for its own secret voyage. Dreams, those vivid, fleeting worlds that appear behind closed eyes, have fascinated humans for as long as we have watched the stars. Are they random sparks of a resting brain, or hidden messages from the deepest corners of our consciousness? For thousands of years, people have wondered what dreams mean. Ancient priests called them visions from the gods. Philosophers debated whether they were memories or glimpses of the future. Modern science sees something just as extraordinary: a nightly dance of neurons, a laboratory of emotion, a canvas for creativity and healing. In this quiet journey, we will separate myth from fact. We'll explore how dreams shape memory, soothe our hearts, and reveal the hidden rhythms of the sleeping mind. As you listen, allow yourself to drift. Because tonight, we'll travel through the science of sleep, the mysteries of dreaming, and the midnight space where imagination and reality meet. From the moment humans first looked up at the night sky, dreams have been part of our deepest questions. Thousands of years before neuroscience, before electricity, even before writing, people awoke from strange midnight visions and wondered, where did these images come from? In ancient Mesopotamia, clay tablets record stories of kings who believed dreams were messages from the gods. Egyptian pharaohs kept entire temples dedicated to dream interpretation, where priests waited to translate the symbols of the sleeping mind into prophecies for the living. In Greece, philosophers like Aristotle and Plato debated whether dreams came from divine forces or from the body itself, a natural process of the soul sorting through the day. Across cultures, the night was never silent. The Chinese Book of Rites described dreams as journeys of the spirit, while indigenous peoples of North America treated them as visions of guidance, woven into the fabric of ceremony and daily life. In each story, one truth repeats: dreams were never just private experiences, they were bridges between mortals and gods, the waking and the beyond. Imagine the quiet of an ancient night, no hum of machines, no glow of electricity. Only the flicker of firelight and the sound of wind. When people closed their eyes, the universe itself felt closer, and every dream was a meeting place where the physical and spiritual worlds touched. Before science, this was how humans explained the unexplainable. Dreams were maps of fate, messages from ancestors, warnings of danger, and sometimes glimpses of love yet to come. To dream was to listen to the cosmos whisper. As centuries passed, the mystery of dreams only deepened. During the Middle Ages, European scholars blended folklore with religion, believing that night visions could be both divine messages and demonic temptations. In medieval monasteries, monks recorded their dreams alongside prayers, convinced that angels or saints might slip quietly into the sleeping mind to deliver guidance or warning. The Renaissance brought a different light. Artists painted dreamlike worlds filled with impossible geometry and luminous skies, while early physicians began to suspect that the brain itself was the stage. They observed how fever, wine, or sleeplessness shaped the stories of the night, hinting that dreams might rise from the body as much as from the heavens. By the 19th century, science started to challenge superstition. Thinkers like Sigmund Freud proposed that dreams revealed hidden desires, a coded language of the unconscious. Carl Jung expanded this vision, calling dreams a window to the collective mind, a place where symbols from every culture whispered their truths. Yet even as psychology offered explanations, the enchantment remained. Dreams were still powerful, still strange, still carrying the scent of other worlds. People woke with the echo of forgotten languages on their lips, or the warmth of long-lost friends in their hearts. Across continents and eras, one idea persisted. Dreams are bridges, between past and future, between self and cosmos, between what we know and what we long to discover. And tonight, as we drift deeper into this journey, we carry these ancient questions forward. Are dreams only the chatter of neurons, or are they messages from a universe that refuses to be silent? Tonight, as darkness settles and your body grows still, a different kind of journey begins inside your mind. Sleep is not simply an absence of wakefulness. It is an active, intricate process, an ancient rhythm shared by every creature that dreams. Your night begins with the slow descent into NREM sleep, or non-rapid eye movement sleep. Breathing slows, heart rate steadies. Brainwaves shift from the busy chatter of daytime into the slow rolling tides of delta waves. In this first stage, cells across your body repair themselves, and memories from the day begin to settle, like silt in a quiet riverbed. Then, after about 90 minutes, something remarkable happens. Your eyes flicker beneath closed lids, your heart rate rises just a little. Brain activity spikes into a pattern nearly identical to waking consciousness. This is REM sleep, the stage where the most vivid dreams bloom. During REM, the brain's limbic system, which governs emotion, glows with activity, while the prefrontal cortex, the region of logic and planning, becomes quieter. It is a perfect recipe for wild imagery and emotional storytelling. Imagine the brain as a theatre. During the day, the director keeps the show organized and linear. At night, in REM, the director steps aside. Actors roam freely. Scenes change without warning. The result is the dreamscape, a movie only you can see, projected in real time across the canvas of your mind. Scientists using EEG and fMRI have watched this dance of neurons in exquisite detail. They've seen how memories from waking life are replayed and recombined, snippets of yesterday's conversations, fragments of old music, even faces from decades past. Dreaming is not random static. It is your brain sorting, weaving, and rehearsing, transforming the ordinary into something extraordinary. Researchers have discovered that dreaming isn't just an idle side effect of sleep. It is a fundamental part of how the brain stays healthy. While you dream, the brain's glymphatic system, its cleaning network, flushes out metabolic waste, clearing proteins that, if left behind, can lead to cognitive decline. In a very real way, dreams are part of the brain's nightly maintenance, a secret housekeeping no alarm clock can replace. Studies in memory labs reveal something even more fascinating. When subjects learn new tasks, like playing a piano sequence or navigating a maze, the patterns of neurons that fire during the day replay at night during REM. It's as if the mind is rehearsing, strengthening connections, turning fragile moments into long-term memory. Dreams, then, are not random at all. They are our brain's way of editing, archiving, and even creating new ideas. This explains why dreams are often emotional. The amygdala, which processes fear and excitement, is highly active during REM, while the rational prefrontal cortex rests. That's why a single word can blossom into a sprawling adventure, why ordinary worries can twist into surreal landscapes. The logic of day gives way to the language of feeling. Cutting-edge technology now allows scientists to glimpse these private worlds. Using functional MRI and machine learning algorithms, researchers can reconstruct rough images of what sleepers are dreaming. We are, for the first time, catching shadows of dreams as they happen. Yet even with these advances, the essence of dreaming remains elusive. For all our instruments and equations, a mystery lingers. We can chart brain waves and replay neural signals, but the question remains, why does the mind choose certain images? Why these stories and not others? Science can describe the mechanics, but the deeper meaning, if there is one, belongs to the dreamer alone. As you drift further into the night, remember, each dream you have is a collaboration between biology and imagination. It is a silent theatre where memory, emotion, and creativity meet, and as you listen to the quiet rhythms of your own breath, your brain is already preparing tonight's performance, a story only you will know when you wake. For most of human history, dreams have been more than fleeting stories of the night. They were treated as messages from the divine, warnings of danger, or windows to the future. Even as science advances, these old beliefs still echo in our imagination. Across cultures, the myths are strikingly similar. In ancient Egypt, a strange dream might send a pharaoh rushing to a temple for interpretation, convinced it carried a prophecy of war or harvest. In Greece, dream oracles promised glimpses of destiny, while in China, scholars wrote of dreams as journeys of the spirit, brief visits to hidden realms that existed beyond waking life. Fast forward to the modern world and the symbols have changed, but the allure remains. How often have you heard someone say, "I dreamed my grandmother spoke to me last night. It must mean something." We still look for patterns and meaning, hoping our dreams can guide us through choices or reveal secrets we cannot see while awake. Then there is the universal superstition, that every image or object in a dream has a fixed meaning. A snake means betrayal. Falling means fear. Flying means freedom. Entire industries of dream dictionaries thrive on these interpretations, promising to decode the symbols for a fee. Yet when neuroscientists examine these claims, they find no single code. Dreams, they explain, are intensely personal, built from our own memories, emotions, and experiences. A snake in your dream might be a symbol of danger, or simply a memory of a nature show you watched years ago. The meaning is not in the symbol itself, but in how your own mind weaves it into a story. And still, the myths refuse to fade. Perhaps because dreams feel different from ordinary thoughts, more vivid, more alive. When you wake from a dream that feels like a message, it's natural to wonder if someone or something is speaking to you from beyond the everyday world. Some of the most famous stories in history begin with a dream. Ancient rulers claimed that victories in battle were foretold in visions long before armies marched. Abraham Lincoln reportedly dreamed of his own funeral days before his assassination. Countless inventors and artists, from Mary Shelley imagining Frankenstein to Paul McCartney hearing the melody of Yesterday, credit dreams with sparking their greatest creations. To the dreaming mind, these moments feel more than coincidence. They feel like proof that dreams can predict, create, or warn. But modern science offers a quieter, equally wondrous explanation. When we sleep, the brain does not rest. It sifts through memories, blends fragments of experience, and searches for patterns. Sometimes those patterns are so vivid, so perfectly timed, that they appear prophetic. Yet they are often the natural byproduct of a mind connecting dots we didn't notice while awake. This is why a dream might seem to solve a problem or reveal a hidden truth. During REM sleep, the boundaries between logic and imagination blur. The rational filters of the waking brain relax, allowing unexpected associations to rise to the surface. It isn't magic, it's the mind, free from daylight rules, exploring every possibility. Still, for many people, the emotional power of a dream defies any tidy scientific label. A warning that saves a life, a visit from a loved one who has passed, a melody that writes itself in the silence of night. Science can describe the mechanism, but the meaning, that part belongs only to the dreamer. And so the myths endure, not because they are scientifically proven, but because they speak to something universal. The belief that our sleeping minds are more than random sparks, that dreams can carry messages, memories, and even a kind of truth beyond measurement. As you drift deeper into the night, remember, whether they are prophecy, poetry, or pure biology, dreams are a mirror of your inner world, a place where science and mystery will always meet. Imagine realizing in the middle of a dream that you are dreaming. The sky above you bends in colors that don't exist. The ground beneath your feet feels weightless, and suddenly you know, this is not reality, and yet you are awake inside it. This phenomenon is known as lucid dreaming, a state where the dreamer becomes aware of the dream while still immersed in it. Lucid dreaming is not a modern discovery. Ancient Buddhist texts describe techniques to remain aware during sleep, treating dreams as a path to enlightenment. In Tibetan traditions, monks practiced dream yoga, training themselves to wake up within the dream in order to explore consciousness itself. Indigenous peoples on multiple continents told stories of spirit journeys where the traveller knew they were moving through a dream world. Modern science began to confirm these practices only in the last few decades. In the late 1970s, researchers like Stephen LaBerge at Stanford University designed clever experiments. Lucid dreamers in sleep labs would signal their awareness by making prearranged eye movements beneath their closed lids. These eye signals proved that consciousness can indeed exist during REM sleep. Inside a lucid dream, the boundaries of reality dissolve. Some dreamers report flying over alien landscapes or walking through memories long forgotten. Others use lucid dreaming to rehearse skills, confront fears, or simply explore a universe limited only by imagination. Brain scans show that during these moments, regions involved in self-awareness and decision-making flicker awake, even as the rest of the brain remains deep in REM. But achieving lucidity isn't accidental for everyone. Many practice reality checks during the day, pausing to ask, "Am I dreaming?" until the habit carries into sleep. Others keep detailed dream journals, training their minds to recognize patterns. Over time, these methods increase the chance of waking up inside the dream. To those who experience it, lucid dreaming is more than a nighttime curiosity. It is a reminder that the mind is capable of awareness even when the body is at rest. A space where imagination becomes reality, and where you can quite literally write the script of your own adventure. Beyond the thrill of flying or shaping landscapes, lucid dreaming carries possibilities that reach into science and therapy. Psychologists have explored its use in nightmare treatment, especially for people who suffer recurring dreams filled with fear. By learning to recognize the dream and change the scene, many patients find relief, turning terror into empowerment. Artists and inventors have also used lucid dreams as creative laboratories. In the quiet of REM, where imagination is unbound, painters report experimenting with colors never seen in daylight. Musicians have composed melodies that seem to arrive fully formed. Writers describe entire narratives unfolding in minutes, as if dictated by the subconscious. What begins as sleep becomes a limitless studio for the mind, but this freedom carries cautions. Extended or forced lucid dreaming can disrupt sleep cycles if pursued recklessly. Some dreamers experience false awakenings, moments when they believe they have woken up, only to find themselves still inside a dream. While not dangerous, these loops can be disorienting and remind us that lucidity is not the same as full control. Neuroscientists continue to map this frontier. Brain imaging shows that during lucid episodes, regions tied to self-awareness and decision-making flicker to life inside the REM state, creating a unique hybrid of waking and dreaming consciousness. It is as though the mind stands with one foot in reality and one in the infinite. Perhaps this is why lucid dreaming feels so profound. It blurs the boundaries we take for granted, asleep or awake, real or imagined, observer or creator. Inside a lucid dream, you're both storyteller and character, architect and traveller. And when morning comes, the memory lingers, a reminder that the human mind is not limited to the hours of daylight. In the quiet of sleep, it can build worlds, rewrite fears, and discover a freedom that belongs entirely to you. So the next time you close your eyes and drift into night, remember, the dream is yours. And within it lies a universe where anything you imagine can take flight. When you close your eyes and drift into sleep, your mind begins more than a night of rest. It begins a night of repair. Beneath the quiet surface, the brain is alive with work, sorting, filing, and rewriting the story of your day. Dreams are not only entertainment for the sleeping mind, they are a form of emotional housekeeping. Inside the hippocampus, the brain's memory hub, scenes from your waking hours replay in fragmented loops. Scientists have observed this process in striking detail. Rats trained to run a maze will replay the same neural firing patterns as they sleep, as though dreaming the maze again. Humans do the same, weaving yesterday's experiences into the fabric of long-term memory. Your dreams are like an editor, cutting away noise and highlighting what matters most. But dreams go beyond simple archiving. They are also an emotional workshop. During REM sleep, the amygdala, responsible for processing feelings, glows with activity. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex, the part that usually filters emotion with logic, stays quiet. This unique balance allows us to revisit strong feelings in a safe environment. It is why people who suffer loss often dream of loved ones they've lost, and why we sometimes wake with a surprising sense of peace after a difficult day. Clinical research supports this quiet magic. Patients with post-traumatic stress disorder who experience recurring nightmares sometimes heal faster when therapy focuses on reshaping those dreams, training the brain to rewrite the trauma. Other studies show that vivid dreaming is linked to greater creativity and emotional resilience, as if the mind is rehearsing solutions while we sleep. Think of dreams as a hidden rehearsal studio. Conflicts soften, grief is revisited, and the fragments of stress begin to settle. While you lie still, your brain is quietly making sense of the world, preparing you to face a new day with a lighter heart. Scientists are now uncovering just how deeply dreams shape our mental health. In sleep labs around the world, researchers have watched the sleeping brain carefully erase the sharp edges of painful memories. The REM state allows emotions to be replayed without the rush of stress hormones like adrenaline. It is as though the mind can revisit a storm while standing safely on the shore. This gentle reprocessing helps explain why a full night's sleep can soften heartbreak, calm anxiety, and spark clarity after conflict. When dreams are disrupted by insomnia, chronic stress, or trauma, emotional balance often falters. Studies show that people deprived of a REM sleep become more irritable, less able to regulate mood, and slower to recover from daily setbacks. In this way, Dreams are not luxuries. They are essential maintenance for the soul. Therapists are beginning to use this insight in powerful ways. Techniques like imagery rehearsal therapy invite patients to rewrite nightmares while awake, rehearsing a safer ending until the brain adopts it in sleep. Over time, the frightening dream loses its power, proving that our relationship with dreams can be active, not passive. Even creativity is touched by this process. Artists, scientists, and inventors often describe waking with sudden insights, solutions their conscious minds could not reach. In the quiet theatre of REM, the brain rearranges memories and emotions like pieces of a puzzle, forging connections invisible in the rush of daylight. So as you drift into your own night's rest, remember that each dream is more than a fleeting story. It is a nightly ritual of healing and renewal. Behind the closed curtain of your eyelids, neurons fire in perfect rhythm, carrying your worries into landscapes where they can be softened, reshaped, and released. By morning, you awaken not only rested, but quietly transformed, proof that while the body sleeps, the mind continues its most important work. As daylight fades and your body surrenders to sleep, an intricate symphony of chemistry begins to play. Sleep is not a simple on-off switch. It is a carefully orchestrated sequence of hormones, neurotransmitters, and brain waves that guide you through the night like a silent conductor. The process starts hours before you close your eyes. As evening falls, your pineal gland releases melatonin, a hormone triggered by darkness. Melatonin doesn't force you to sleep. It simply opens the door, lowering body temperature and signaling that the time for rest has arrived. Meanwhile, the stress hormone cortisol begins its slow nightly decline, allowing muscles to loosen and thoughts to soften. Once you drift off, the first stage of non-REM sleep begins. Brainwaves slow into gentle alpha rhythms, then descend into the deep rolling delta waves of stage 3. This is slow wave sleep, the most physically restorative phase. During this time, growth hormone surges, repairing tissues, strengthening bones, and boosting the immune system. Your heartbeat becomes slow and steady, as if the body is listening to an ancient lullaby. Inside the brain, another quiet revolution unfolds. Glial cells, the caretakers of the nervous system, open tiny channels to flush away toxins, a process researchers call the glymphatic system. It is a nightly cleanse, washing out proteins that, if left behind, could harm memory and cognition. Then, roughly 90 minutes later, the cycle transforms. Your eyes dart beneath their lids, breathing quickens, and brain activity surges into the vivid landscape of REM sleep. Neurochemicals like acetylcholine light up, while serotonin and norepinephrine briefly fade, creating a unique state where the mind can dream freely, untethered from the usual grip of waking logic. Each of these stages repeats in roughly 90-minute cycles, like the tide rising and receding through the night. 4 to 6 full cycles carry you toward morning, each with its own rhythm of healing, memory, and dreaming. This quiet chemistry of sleep is not just maintenance, it is survival. Without the ebb and flow of these hormones and waves, the mind frays, the body weakens, and the fragile balance of health begins to break. Every night, as you slip beneath the surface, your cells, your memories, and your spirit rely on this invisible dance to renew and protect you. Behind every dream lies an elegant balance of chemistry. As you move through the cycles of sleep, countless signals flash across the brain, each one timed with precision. During the shift into deep REM, levels of dopamine begin to rise, stimulating vivid imagery and emotional color in your dreams. Dopamine, the same chemical tied to pleasure and creativity in waking life, becomes a painter in the night, layering visions with surprising brightness and narrative drive. At the same time, serotonin and norepinephrine, which usually help keep thoughts organized, remain unusually quiet. Their absence loosens the grip of logic, allowing the impossible to feel perfectly natural. Meanwhile, the body itself follows the orchestra of sleep. The pituitary gland releases growth hormone, repairing tissue and building muscle. The immune system heightens its activity, creating antibodies and clearing inflammation. Even your heart and blood vessels benefit. Blood pressure lowers, and the cardiovascular system resets for the day ahead. Cortisol, the stress hormone, begins its slow climb toward dawn. This gentle rise is the body's way of preparing you to wake, bringing alertness back as the sun returns. If your cortisol rhythm is disrupted by stress, irregular sleep, or artificial light, Your mornings can feel heavy and your dreams fragmented, as if the night never truly finished its work. All of these chemical tides, melatonin's quiet invitation, dopamine's wild colours, cortisol's gradual awakening, are what give each dream its texture. They shape not only when you dream, but how deeply you feel it. A dream of flying might be a soaring surge of dopamine. A dream of calm oceans might mirror the slow pulse of serotonin as it flickers back to life. When we speak of dreams as mysterious or magical, we are also speaking of chemistry. This nightly dance of hormones and neurotransmitters is the hidden engine of imagination, proof that our most otherworldly experiences are rooted in the very cells of the brain. And as the first light of morning brushes the horizon, the cycle completes. Melatonin fades, cortisol peaks. Your eyes open, carrying with them the last delicate traces of the dream world, a private universe shaped by biology, yet alive with wonder. Dreams speak a language that is not made of words. Instead, they speak in symbols, sensations, and sudden shifts of place and time, a staircase that never ends, a stranger with a familiar face, a vast ocean you cannot cross. For centuries, people have tried to build dictionaries of these images as if the mind used a shared code. A house might mean the self, a storm might mean conflict, a bird might mean freedom. These interpretations can feel comforting, a way to bring order to the chaos of the night. But neuroscience paints a more personal picture. Each dream symbol is a mosaic of your own memories and emotions. The endless staircase might come from an old childhood home combined with the echo of an unfinished task. The stranger's face could be a memory stitched together from countless forgotten glances. Dreams borrow freely, mixing the ordinary with the impossible until they feel both familiar and strange. In the brain, this creativity is fueled by a special balance. During REM sleep, the visual cortex glows with activity, summoning landscapes and faces with the detail of a waking hallucination. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex, the part that checks reality, remains quiet, allowing stories to twist and transform without resistance. This is why dreams skip from mountain peaks to childhood classrooms in an instant, why the laws of physics bend like smoke. Even so, the emotional truth of a dream can be real. A dream of falling might not predict disaster, but it can mirror a feeling of instability in your waking life. A dream of flying might not promise freedom, but it may reflect the joy of breaking free from a hidden fear. The mind speaks in metaphors when it sleeps, and the meanings are written not in universal codes, but in the private language of your own heart. Across the world, cultures have built their own dream lexicons, each reflecting the hopes and fears of its people. In ancient Egypt, a dream of a river might mean abundance, while in medieval Europe, it could mean a coming journey or even a spiritual trial. In Japan, the first dream of the new year, called Hatsuyumi, is still considered a sign of fortune for the months ahead. Though these traditions differ, they all share the belief that dreams whisper truths that waking life cannot. Modern researchers, however, reveal a more intimate truth. The same dream symbol can carry entirely different meanings for different people. A mountain might represent ambition to one person and an obstacle to another, depending on personal history. The brain pulls from a lifetime of memories, fragments of places, faces, and emotions to create its own visual language. No universal dictionary can fully translate what only your subconscious understands. Some scientists suggest that this inner storytelling is more than random chance. During sleep, the brain processes emotions and replays experiences, searching for connections we might miss when awake. This is why a dream can feel strangely wise, like advice from an invisible guide. It is not prophecy, but pattern recognition, your mind weaving insight from memory and feeling. Even as science explains the mechanics, the mystery endures. Dreams remain a private dialogue between the conscious and the unconscious, a nightly conversation with the self. They remind us that our minds are not bound by daylight logic, and that meaning is something we create from the fragments of memory, culture, and imagination. So when you wake from a dream that lingers like a poem, remember, the image belongs to you alone. Its symbols are drawn from the art of your own life, a language only you can truly read. In the quiet darkness of the sleep lab, the future of dream research is already unfolding. Electrodes trace delicate lines across a sleeper's scalp, while powerful computers hum softly in the background. What was once the realm of mystics and poets is now a frontier for neuroscience, physics, and artificial intelligence. The earliest modern breakthroughs came with electroencephalography, or EEG, in the mid-20th century. For the first time, scientists could watch the brain's electrical rhythms as a person dreamed, waves of activity surging and falling like tides across a hidden ocean. REM sleep, once invisible, became a bright signal on the screen, proving that the dreaming brain is almost as active as when we are awake. Today, the tools are far more sophisticated. Functional MRI allows researchers to map blood flow in the brain with stunning precision, capturing the pulse of thought as it happens. Advanced sleep labs combine EEG, fMRI, and infrared eye tracking to follow the exact moment a dream begins. We can now see the flicker of images forming in the mind's eye, as if the dream itself were a small private sunrise. The most astonishing progress, however, comes from artificial intelligence. Using machine learning, researchers feed brain scans into algorithms that attempt to reconstruct dream imagery. Volunteers describe their dreams after waking, and AI compares their words to patterns in neural activity. Slowly, a rough picture emerges, a blurred outline of a face, the faint shape of a landscape, ghostly glimpses of the inner world. Although still in its early stages, this technology suggests that one day we might capture and even replay fragments of our dreams. Imagine watching last night's visions as if they were a film, the colours, the movements, the impossible shifts of scenery preserved for daylight reflection. It is a breathtaking and slightly unsettling possibility. Yet even with these advances, science remains humble. The tools can track brainwaves and hint at the images behind them, but the personal meaning of a dream, its private poetry, remains something only the dreamer can truly know. As the tools of neuroscience grow sharper, the boundaries between the private world of dreams and the shared world of waking life begin to blur. Around the globe, ambitious projects are exploring how far we can go in observing the sleeping mind. In Japan, researchers have trained algorithms to match patterns of brain activity with categories of images, faces, animals, landscapes, allowing computers to predict the rough content of a dream before the sleeper even wakes. In Europe and the United States, teams are testing non-invasive stimulation methods to gently nudge a dreamer towards specific imagery, or even to help them recognize when they are dreaming. Early experiments hint at the possibility of interactive dreaming, where a sleeper could answer simple yes or no questions from the outside world, with eye movements, bridging two realities in real time. These breakthroughs raise profound questions. If a machine can reconstruct a dream, who owns that vision? Is a dream a private thought, protected like any other, or does capturing it turn it into data, something that could be stored, studied, even sold? Ethicists warn that as the technology advances, we must decide how to guard the intimate landscapes of the mind. A dream is not just brain activity. It is memory, emotion, and identity intertwined. Still, the research continues, fueled by curiosity and wonder. Each new discovery confirms what humans have sensed for millennia, that dreams are both universal and unique, a nightly dialogue between brain and cosmos. Technology may one day let us watch these stories unfold like films, but the meaning will always remain personal. Perhaps that is the final secret of dream science. We can map the neurons, record the signals, even recreate the images, but the heart of a dream, its quiet message, its private poetry, belongs only to the dreamer. The deeper we peer into the sleeping mind, the more we are reminded of its infinite mystery. So tonight, as you drift towards sleep, remember, behind your eyelids lies a world no machine can truly capture, a place where science can measure, but only you can feel. Long before laboratories and brain scans, dreams were the shared language of culture. Every society across every era found meaning in the silent theatre of the night. To dream was to travel, to listen, to receive guidance from realms beyond the waking world. In ancient Egypt, temples called houses of sleep stood as sacred spaces where people came to dream on purpose. Priests believed the gods spoke through night visions, offering advice on health, harvests, and war. Travellers slept on stone slabs, hoping for messages in the flickering darkness. Far to the east, in China, dreams were viewed as journeys of the soul. Early Taoist philosophers wrote of the mind leaving the body to roam the cosmos, touching distant stars and returning with whispers of insight. The famous sage Zhuangzi once dreamt he was a butterfly. then awoke unsure whether he had been a man dreaming of a butterfly or a butterfly dreaming of a man. Among the indigenous peoples of North America, dreams held a central place in daily life. The Lakota Sioux practiced vision quests, where young people sought spiritual guidance through dreams during solitary fasts. The Ojibwe wove intricate dream catchers, believing these delicate webs could filter nightmares and protect the sleeper from harm. Across the Pacific, Polynesian cultures told stories of dream voyages between islands, where ancestors visited the living to offer protection or warnings. In the high Andes, Quechua shamans spoke of dreams as bridges to the spirit world, where healers learned remedies and hunters found guidance for the next day's journey. Though separated by oceans and centuries, these traditions share a striking belief. Dreams are not private accidents of the brain. They are messages, lessons and connections, threads tying the living to the cosmos, the past to the present, and the individual to the infinite. In the heart of the Middle East, ancient Mesopotamians carved their dreams into clay tablets, convinced that the gods spoke through night visions. Prophets in the Hebrew Bible often describe dreams as direct messages from the divine, Jacob's ladder stretching to heaven, Joseph's interpretations guiding nations through famine. In Africa, countless tribes wove dreams into the fabric of daily life. Among the Ashanti of Ghana, dreams were thought to be the soul travelling to visit ancestors, while the Zulu people believed that spirits of the departed could offer warnings or blessings through the dream world. These traditions treated dreaming as a living bridge between the visible and the invisible. Medieval Europe blended Christian faith with older folklore. Monks recorded dreams of angels and demons, while villagers whispered of omens carried by the moon. During the Renaissance, artists and poets embraced dreams as gateways to inspiration, painting scenes that captured both earthly beauty and supernatural wonder. Even in the industrial modern age, the fascination never faded. Sigmund Freud famously called dreams the royal road to the unconscious, proposing that they revealed hidden desires and unresolved conflicts. Carl Jung expanded the idea, suggesting that dreams spoke in archetypes, universal symbols shared across cultures. Their theories shaped modern psychology and sparked an enduring debate over whether dreams conceal deeper truths. Today, these cultural echoes remain alive in subtle ways. People still wake and reach for a dream journal, still wonder if a sudden vision is a sign or a memory, still seek meaning in the strange theatre of the night. From ancient temples to modern therapy rooms, dreams continue to connect us. Across time, across continents, across the boundary between science and spirit. Perhaps that is the lasting legacy of dreaming. It binds the human story together. No matter the century or the faith, every culture listens for the quiet messages of the night sky and finds, in dreams, a reminder that we are part of something vast and mysterious. What will dreams become in the centuries ahead? As science advances and technology penetrates deeper into the private world of sleep, the future of dreaming begins to look both exciting and unsettling. Already, researchers are experimenting with real-time dream interaction. In carefully controlled labs, sleeping volunteers have answered simple yes or no questions using eye movements while still inside their dreams. This is only the beginning of a field some scientists call interactive dreaming, where a person might one day hold a two-way conversation while asleep. Imagine asking your dreaming self to change a storyline, or to explore a specific memory, while researchers guide the process from the outside. Artificial intelligence is also reshaping dream science. Machine learning algorithms can now predict, with increasing accuracy, the kinds of images a person might be seeing based on brainwave patterns and fMRI scans. Some experiments have even reconstructed rough outlines of dream images, shadows of landscapes, faces, and objects captured from the subconscious. Looking ahead, some visionaries imagine therapeutic dream programming. Doctors could one day design dream sequences to help treat trauma, anxiety, or chronic pain, guiding patients through healing scenarios while they sleep. Lucid dreaming techniques might merge with virtual reality, allowing people to practice skills, rehearse performances, or explore creative ideas in a fully immersive dream environment. But these possibilities carry profound questions. If we can record or alter a dream, who owns it? Could companies attempt to sell or manipulate dream experiences the way they target ads today? Will privacy extend to the contents of our unconscious mind? Ethicists are only beginning to consider the implications of a world where the border between waking and dreaming becomes porous. Despite these technologies, one truth remains: the essence of dreaming, its unpredictable poetry, its deeply personal meaning, may never be fully captured. The human mind is not simply a machine to decode. It is a living universe, rich with mystery, where even the most advanced algorithms may find only reflections, never the core. As we peer forward into this future, the question is not just what we will discover about dreams, but how those discoveries will change the way we understand ourselves. As the line between waking and dreaming grows thinner, new possibilities and new dangers emerge. Already, some researchers imagine using dreams as a tool for therapy, guiding patients through designed dream sequences to help overcome phobias, confront grief, or practice emotional resilience. This merging of neuroscience and mental health could transform the way we heal, allowing treatment to unfold in the gentle safety of sleep. Others look toward creativity. Imagine a composer entering a dream state enhanced by mild stimulation, where melodies surface effortlessly and can be recorded the moment they awaken. Visual artists might explore landscapes impossible to paint in waking life, then bring back vivid details to their canvases. In this way, dreams could become not just a source of inspiration, but an active collaborator in human invention. But with these wonders come profound ethical questions. If we can record or even edit dreams, who decides what is private? Will dream data require the same legal protections as medical records, or will it be treated as entertainment, vulnerable to misuse? Could marketing one day slip into our dreams, shaping desires while we sleep? These questions, once the stuff of science fiction, are already stirring debates among ethicists and lawmakers. And still, for all the technology, one truth endures: the dream itself remains uniquely human. It is a personal universe that no algorithm can fully decode. The meaning of a dream is not just in the images, but in the feelings it awakens, the quiet echo of memory, the subtle guidance of intuition, the gentle release of a long-held fear. As we look forward, we might build machines that trace every neuron and capture every flicker of REM. Yet the essence of dreaming, its mystery, its poetry, its power to surprise, will always belong to the dreamer. So when you drift to sleep tonight, remember, the future of dream research may expand what we know, but it cannot steal the wonder. Your dreams remain the final frontier of your own mind, a place where science meets the infinite and where every night the universe writes a story only you can tell. Night after night, while the world sleeps, the human body performs one of its greatest miracles: repair and renewal. As you drift through the stages of sleep, your mind and body engage in a quiet choreography of healing, and dreams are at the heart of that process. Modern neuroscience reveals that REM sleep, the stage where our most vivid dreams occur, is not just a playground for the imagination. It is a built-in form of therapy. During REM, the brain replays emotional experiences in a state where the stress hormone cortisol is low and the neurotransmitters that create fear and anxiety are subdued. This allows you to revisit difficult memories in a space where the emotional charge is softened, like examining a storm through a safe window. Researchers sometimes call this overnight therapy. They've discovered that people deprived of REM sleep show higher levels of irritability, anxiety, and even depression. Their ability to regulate mood falters, and their reactions to stress become sharper and less controlled. The absence of dreaming doesn't just leave you tired, it leaves you unbalanced. Meanwhile, the body itself is working its own magic. Cells repair microscopic damage to muscles and tissues. The immune system releases proteins called cytokines to fight infection and inflammation. Growth hormone surges, rebuilding and strengthening every system from bones to blood vessels. All of this happens beneath the quiet veil of night, with dreams unfolding like gentle music in the background. When you dream, your mind is not only exploring imaginary worlds, it is performing a profound service to your emotional and physical health. Each image, each story, is part of a larger pattern of restoration. Whether you remember them or not, your dreams are helping you wake with steadier thoughts, calmer emotions, and a body ready to face a new day. Clinical research continues to reveal just how critical dreaming is to our mental and emotional health. At leading sleep centers, scientists observe that when people are deprived of the REM sleep for even a few nights, mood regulation begins to unravel, anxiety increases, emotional reactions sharpen, and even the immune system grows less efficient. In contrast, those who experience deep, uninterrupted REM cycles show stronger resilience, better memory consolidation, and more stable moods. Therapists have turned this understanding into practice in imagery rehearsal therapy. Patients who suffer from recurring nightmares are guided to rewrite their dreams while awake, changing frightening endings into calmer narratives. Over time, the brain adopts the new version during sleep, reducing fear and restoring a sense of control. This approach has helped veterans with PTSD, children with night terrors, and people recovering from traumatic events. There is also evidence that dreaming plays a vital role in emotional integration. When you dream of a loved one you've lost, it may not be a supernatural visitation, but it can provide genuine comfort. The dream acts as a safe arena where grief is processed, allowing you to awaken with a lighter heart and a clearer mind. On a physical level, this nightly restoration strengthens more than just mood. The surge of growth hormone during deep sleep repairs tissue and fortifies the immune system. In this way, dreams become part of a whole-body healing cycle, one that nourishes both the mind and the cells that sustain life. Think of each dream as a quiet therapy session you never had to schedule. Your mind, freed from the demands of daylight, gently sorts through emotions, smooths rough memories, and renews your inner strength. By morning, you may not remember the details, but the effects are undeniable: a steadier mood, a calmer heart, and the resilience to face whatever the next day brings. So when you close your eyes tonight, remember, sleep is not a pause in life. It is life's most profound form of self-care, and dreaming is its most beautiful expression. Throughout history, the dream world has served as a secret studio of the human mind, a place where imagination roams without the limits of daylight logic. Many of humanity's greatest works of art, music, and science began as whispers from the sleeping brain. Consider the writer Mary Shelley, who famously awoke from a vivid nightmare with the story of Frankenstein fully formed in her mind. Or composer Paul McCartney, who heard the melody of Yesterday in a dream and rushed to capture it before it slipped away. Chemist Dmitri Mendeleev envisioned the structure of the periodic table while asleep, seeing elements arrange themselves in perfect order. These are not isolated tales. They are echoes of a universal truth. Dreams often serve as a gateway to innovation. Why is the dreaming mind so creative? During REM sleep, when most vivid dreaming occurs, the brain enters a rare state where logic and imagination intermingle. The prefrontal cortex, which enforces order and reason, quiets down. Meanwhile, the associative regions of the brain light up, allowing distant ideas to connect in unexpected ways. It is the perfect environment for originality, a natural incubator for new concepts and artistic expression. Even in ordinary lives, dreams offer flashes of brilliance. A painter wakes with an image that changes an entire series of work. An engineer dreams a solution to a stubborn design problem. A student finds clarity for a complex equation after a night of deep sleep. The dream state frees the mind from the constraints of routine, allowing ideas to drift, collide, and spark. Dreams are not just nighttime entertainment, they are an engine of creativity, a reminder that innovation often happens when we let go of control and trust the subconscious to wander. Modern neuroscience continues to reveal how deeply creativity is tied to the dreaming brain. During REM sleep, the mind enters a rare state of loose association, where distant concepts merge in surprising ways. This is when memories from different times and places overlap. Childhood scenes blending with yesterday's conversations, colours mixing with sounds, emotions fusing with abstract ideas. These collisions of thought are the raw material of innovation. Studies using EEG and fMRI show that the brain's default mode network, responsible for daydreaming and imagination, becomes highly active during REM. At the same time, the prefrontal cortex, which usually imposes order and restraint, stays relatively quiet. This balance allows ideas to combine freely, unbound by the rigid logic of waking life. It's the perfect laboratory for new connections to form. Artists and scientists alike have long drawn on this hidden workshop. Salvador Dali famously used the hypnagogic nap, drifting at the edge of sleep with a key in his hand so that when he dozed off, the key would fall and wake him, capturing the fleeting images between waking and dreaming. Inventor Thomas Edison used a similar trick, believing that the moments just before deep sleep were charged with insights unreachable in full consciousness. Even for those of us who don't paint masterpieces or design inventions, dreams still act as a quiet engine of problem-solving. A stubborn question might find an elegant answer after a night's rest. A complex decision may feel clearer by morning. The brain, untethered from daily noise, explores possibilities we would never attempt in daylight. Dreams remind us that creativity is not merely an act of effort, but also an act of surrender. To dream is to let go of control and allow the subconscious to create its own universe, a space where imagination and memory dance together, where solutions bloom without force. So the next time you awaken with an idea that feels like it came from nowhere, remember, it came from somewhere very real. It came from the mysterious, limitless landscape of your dreaming mind. We have travelled across centuries of stories, through the laboratories of science and the quiet landscapes of the mind. We have explored how dreams heal, inspire, and even shape the course of human history. And yet, after all the measurements, theories, and experiments, one truth remains impossible to escape. Dreams are still a mystery. Science can describe the electrical storms of REM, map the neural networks that ignite when a dream begins, and even reconstruct faint images of what a sleeper might see. But science cannot capture the spark, that unmeasurable moment when memory transforms into vision, when emotion becomes an entire universe of sound, colour, and story. Perhaps that is why dreams have always felt sacred. They arrive uninvited. They vanish without warning. They speak in symbols no one else can fully decode. They are at once profoundly intimate and universally human. For some, this mystery is frustrating, a puzzle that resists solution. But maybe the beauty of dreaming lies in its resistance. If every dream could be recorded and explained, would it still feel like a gift? Would it still surprise us, comfort us, frighten us, or reveal secret truths we can't express in words? Every night, as you drift into darkness, you enter a realm where science and spirit meet, a place beyond time, beyond logic, beyond even the boundaries of the self. Here, in this silent cosmos, the dream waits, not to be solved, but to be experienced, and so we reach the final horizon. We have wandered through ancient myths and sacred temples, through the quiet hum of laboratories, through the luminous maps of the dreaming brain. We have followed the trail of memory, creativity, healing, and science, and still the essence of dreaming remains untamed. Perhaps that is the point. Dreams are not puzzles to be solved or code to be cracked. They are experiences, fleeting, luminous, deeply human. They belong to the part of us that defies measurement, where biology and poetry merge into something greater. When you close your eyes tonight, you will enter that space again. The world outside will fade and a different universe will unfold behind your eyelids. It may be strange, it may be beautiful, it may vanish at dawn like mist in sunlight, but it will be yours, entirely yours. Science can measure the rhythms of your brain. It can trace the spark of REM and whisper a guess at the images that dance across your mind. But the meaning, the feeling, the secret music of the dream, that is something only you can carry. So when you wake tomorrow, whether you remember a vivid story or only a faint impression, hold it gently. It is a message, a mirror, a fragment of the infinite that lives within you. It reminds you that beyond the noise of daylight, beyond the logic of waking life, there is a world that is entirely your own, a world that no one else can ever truly touch. And that, perhaps, is the greatest mystery of all. Every night, the universe folds itself into a dream, and every morning you rise as both traveller and witness to its endless wonder.